Garlic Press Jess with your food theories of the day. Today I wanted to share with you my theory of deliciousness. This is something that I made up, and I'm really excited to share it with you because it's how I think about creating the most delicious food. So when I'm cooking and making recipes, what I like to think about is how do I make something that is so delicious that you can't stop eating it? Okay, what takes it to that peak level? So how do I make something that's so good you can't stop eating it? And so I like to think about what makes something so good that you can't stop eating it. And I think that there's different categories that foods can fall into in this realm. So I have 6-ish of them. I'm going to explain them to you right now. So first we have junk food, okay? Junk food is so good you can't stop eating it. That is because the salt, sugar, and fat levels of the junk food are specifically manipulated by the food industry to make the food addictive. So there's a book called Salt, Sugar, Fat by Michael Moss that you can read about this, but they literally test the junk food in thousands of iterations to get to the certain specific point at which it will be addictive to get you to buy more junk food. So that's junk food. Okay, then we have carbs and cheese. This is a category that I made up. Generally speaking, carbs and cheese taste pretty good, and if you add them to things, they make your food taste better. So that, I think, just kind of goes without saying. If you want, you can look at carbs and cheese as like a more foodie version of junk food in certain cases, but carbs and cheese is a category that I have named. Okay, then we have thyme. So to me, thyme is really important. Thyme is how you can get your humble ingredients to taste so good that you can't stop eating them. So thyme has been used for centuries to create really delicious food. So this is like your slow cooked meats, your stews, your braises, your roasts, all that kind of stuff. So this is important to know about when you're cooking. Then we have what I call peak quality. So this is something that is the best of the best. So this is like a summer tomato, a summer peach with the juice dripping down your face when you eat it because it's so sweet. This is like the best prosciutto from Italy, or the best Parmigiano Reggiano, or whatever world cuisine you have that has an artisan maker that makes the best thing of the best thing. And then all your peak season produce and other really high quality items. So this is important because when you have a really high quality item, you don't usually need to do that much to it. You just need to help it bring out its natural deliciousness because it's already there. So you want to treat those ingredients with care. This is also important because the more that you can integrate the best quality ingredients into your food and your cooking, the less you'll have to do to make them taste good. So that's why this is important. Then we have a new category that I recently added called nostalgia. So this is like an emotional category. So if you're eating something that's from your childhood that reminds you of this very specific time, it probably tastes so good and you like just have a very emotional, strong reaction to the food. And that's because eating is emotional, and you know, it just carries a lot with it. So nostalgia is a little factor that can add something, but it's kind of like in a dotted line because that's just kind of like a random one that I thought of. Okay, so over here is my favorite category because this is where I like to put all my focus, because this is where I think you make really healthy food taste the best. So this is what I call an interesting combination of flavors and textures. So this is like what you do when you're a really good cook and you open the fridge and you just make something up. That means you have an understanding of how to make a really good, interesting combination of flavors and textures. So what's important here is that A, you have to know how to season your food and balance the flavors. And then B, you want to know how to construct your dish so that you're adding enough different things that it's interesting. So you have some contrast, but not so many things that you kind of lose the dish, where it's just kind of like all this stuff kind of thrown in. So it's just finding the right balance, and that just takes time and practice. So then within that category, this is also where you have what I refer to as like world cuisine flavor combos. So there's just certain foods that go together really well, and that can be random creations of your own. So for example, for me, I love roasting sweet potatoes, and one time I was just randomly experimenting and I put some dried tarragon on my sweet potatoes before I roasted them, and I found that it was a flavor that I just loved, the combination of tarragon and sweet potatoes. So that's like a random one that I just came up with on my own, and you can come up with these on your own too. This is also where you can gain knowledge and influenced from world cuisines of the world. World cuisines usually use a certain combination of aromatics or a certain combination of flavors that they put together. And so if you take those flavors, you can, and you practice, you can learn how to apply them to all kinds of different dishes. And so you can also kind of collect these delicious flavor combos when you go out to eat and you experience something that's a really interesting flavor combo that you never thought of. You can kind of gather these as you eat throughout your journey. So those are my categories of my theories of deliciousness. Junk food, carbs and cheese, those are kind of our less healthy ones. Time, peak quality, nostalgia, our kind of random factor, and then the winner, interesting combination of flavors and textures. Not to say that you can't add carbs and cheese as a flavor and texture, you totally can, and that will, always kind of take your food up to the next level. But making healthy food taste good in this category is really what I'm good at and what I like to think about and focus on and teach everyone else. So I hope you enjoyed our theory of deliciousness. If you have thoughts, I would love to hear them, or if you've experienced this in your own life, I would love to hear about it. And I will catch you next time. Garlic Press Jess signing off.